Stop scrolling for a second. What if the real reason you feel tired, stressed, and stuck is not because your life is too full, but because your mind is? What if the breakthrough you're searching for doesn't require more effort, but less noise? Stay with me, because this story might change the way you think forever. There was a young man named Daniel who believed he was falling behind in life. Every morning he woke up with a heavy chest. His phone was the first thing he touched. News, social media, messages, reminders, goals he hadn't achieved yet. Before his feet even touched the floor, his mind was already crowded. He compared himself to people he barely knew. He replayed old mistakes. He worried about things that hadn't even happened. Daniel wasn't lazy. He worked hard and he read books. He watched motivational videos. He tried productivity apps, but no matter what he did, he felt overwhelmed. It was like trying to pour clean water into a glass that was already filled with mud. One day, after a long week of stress, Daniel decided to visit an old mentor who lived outside the city. The mentor was a quiet man known for giving strange but powerful advice. Daniel drove for 2 hours, his mind racing the whole time. When he arrived, the mentor welcomed him with a calm smile and invited him inside. The house was simple. No big TV, no loud music, just silence. Daniel didn't waste time. "I feel stuck," he said. "I'm trying everything. I work hard. I set goals. I push myself, but my mind never stops. I'm tired." "If you're like him, drowning in thoughts." The mentor nodded and said nothing. He walked into the kitchen and came back with 2 cups and a pot of tea. He placed 1 cup in front of Daniel and began to pour. The tea filled the cup and kept pouring. The tea spilled over the edges and onto the table. Daniel jumped up. "Stop! The cup is full. It can't hold any more." The mentor slowly stopped pouring and looked at him. "Exactly," he said softly. "Your mind is like this cup." Daniel frowned. "You keep trying to add more," the mentor continued. "More goals, more information, more pressure, more expectations. But your mind is already full. How can you receive clarity if there is no space?" Daniel sat back down. For the first time that day, he didn't have a reply. The mentor leaned forward. "Empty your mind. Not forever. Just enough to make space." Daniel laughed nervously. "That sounds impossible." "Is it?" the mentor asked. That question followed Daniel home. For the next few days, he noticed something. His mind never stopped talking. It judged, it predicted, it criticized. It replayed old conversations. Even when nothing was happening, his thoughts were loud. He realized something painful. The noise wasn't coming from outside. It was coming from him. One evening, instead of watching another video or scrolling through his phone, Daniel did something different. He sat on the edge of his bed, closed his eyes, and simply focused on his breathing. At first, it felt strange. His thoughts screamed for attention. "This is a waste of time. You should be working. You're behind." But instead of fighting those thoughts, he just noticed them, like clouds passing in the sky. 5 minutes felt like an hour. But when he opened his eyes, something small had changed. The world felt quieter. He did it again the next day. And the next. Slowly, he began to understand what the mentor meant. Emptying your mind doesn't mean erasing your thoughts. It means not clinging to them. It means letting them pass without building a house around them. Weeks passed. Daniel still had goals. He still worked hard, but he stopped stuffing his mind with constant noise. He reduced social media. He stopped comparing his chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 20. He created small pockets of silence in his day, and something unexpected happened. He became clearer. When his mind wasn't crowded, decisions became easier. He no longer reacted instantly to every problem. Instead of panic, there was pause. Instead of fear, there was focus. One afternoon at work, his boss suddenly announced changes that usually would have sent Daniel into anxiety. Deadlines moved. Expectations shifted. Everyone else started complaining. But Daniel felt something different. There was space between the news and his reaction. In that space, it chose calm. That day he understood the real power of an empty mind. It wasn't weakness. It was control. If you're finding value in this story so far, make sure you like this video and subscribe to English. We share stories that help you grow stronger mentally and emotionally. And trust me, the lesson gets even deeper. A few months later, Daniel faced a bigger challenge. A project he had worked on for a year failed. Completely. Old Daniel would have spiraled. He would have replayed every mistake. He would have blamed himself. He would have lost sleep. But this time, he did something different. He went for a walk without his phone. He sat on a park bench and just watched the trees move in the wind. He noticed his breathing. He noticed the sun on his skin. He noticed the thoughts trying to pull him into panic, and he let them pass. An empty mind doesn't mean you don't care. It means you don't let your thoughts control you. After that failure, Daniel didn't collapse. He adjusted. He learned. He moved forward faster than ever before. One day, he visited the mentor again. "I think I understand now," Daniel said. The mentor smiled. "Tell me, when my mind is full of fear, doubt, comparison, and noise, I can't see clearly. I react instead of respond. But when I create space, I choose better." The mentor nodded. The world will always try to fill your cup. News, opinions, expectations. But it's your responsibility to empty it. Daniel asked, "What happens if I stop practicing?" The mentor chuckled. "Then your cup will overflow again." This is not a one-time lesson. It's a daily habit that hit Daniel hard. Emptying your mind isn't something you do once. It's something you protect. From that day on, Daniel built simple habits. 10 minutes of silence in the morning, short walks without music, eating without scrolling, listening more than speaking, pausing before reacting. He realized something powerful. Most stress doesn't come from reality. It comes from imagination, from stories we tell ourselves. What if primera fácil? What if they judge me? What if I'm not good enough? These are thoughts, not facts. And when you stop treating thoughts as facts, your life changes. Years later, Daniel became the calmest person in his circle. Friends asked him how he stayed so steady during chaos. He would smile and say, "I empty my cup." But here's the truth. The story isn't really about Daniel. It's about you. How many thoughts are you carrying right now that don't serve you? How many fears are just noise? How many comparisons are stealing your peace? Imagine if for just 5 minutes a day, you gave your mind permission to be still. No phone, no music, no distractions. Just you and your breath. It sounds simple, almost too simple. But simple doesn't mean easy. Your mind will resist. It loves noise. It loves drama. It loves replaying the past and predicting disasters. But you are not your thoughts. You are the one observing them. And that changes everything. When you empty your mind, you create space for creativity, for confidence, for clarity, for courage. You stop reacting to every comment. You stop being controlled by every headline. You stop living on autopilot. You start choosing. And choice is power. Think about the strongest people you know. They are not the loudest. They are not the busy. They are the calmest. Their strength comes from control over their inner world. If your inner world is chaotic, your outer world will feel the same. But if your inner world is clear, your actions become powerful. Daniel once asked the mentor one final question. What is the biggest danger to the human mind? The mentor answered without hesitation. Unexamined thoughts. Because unexamined thoughts turn into beliefs. Beliefs turn into actions. Actions turn into your life. So if your life feels heavy, maybe the problem isn't outside. Maybe your cup is simply overflowing. Right now, wherever you are, take a slow breath in and let it out. That small pause you just created, that is the beginning of an empty mind. You don't need to escape to the mountains. You don't need to quit your job. You don't need to change your entire life overnight. You just need to create space. Space between stimulus and response. Space between fear and action. Space between thought and belief. In that space, you will find freedom. And once you taste that freedom, you won't want to go back to a crowded mind. If this story spoke to you, I want you to do something powerful. Comment below with the word space if you're ready to empty your mind and take control of your thoughts. Share this video with someone who feels overwhelmed. You never know whose cup is overflowing right now. And remember, on English Tends to Story, we don't just tell stories. We share lessons that can transform your life. Empty your mind, create space, and watch how powerful you become.